Yo, what's up guys? I hope you're doing well. If you are jumping into Arkheron, one of the most confusing parts about the game is the gearing system. So this is a fast-paced PvP game where you have to put your builds and your gear together on the fly whilst you are fighting PvE and PvP at the same time. So I wanted to just go through all of the gear, how it works, and just give it a really simple run through. So if you're jumping into this, you can have the best start possible. I've played a ton of this over the various playtests and events, and hopefully I can help you out. So I'm starting in the training just to kind of show it really slowly. Okay, so let's get straight into this. And first we'll talk about the item types and quality. So you have the various slots at the bottom. You can see you've got 4 equipable pieces. You've got your crown, your amulet, and your 2 weapons, and then you have consumables. So if we go to the shrine, this is where you can like buy some basic pieces. You have firstly these green items here. Now these green items here are your basic items. So if I was to buy like a sword, a bow, and then an amulet, right? These things are very good. Just because they are not unique and they're not like the top quality doesn't mean they're not usable. You can defeat people with these. They have a left click and then you have a right click. I think this is like a run up. Yeah, it's like a charge. And then similarly with the bow, you have like a left click and then you have a charge, right? And they have cooldowns. So they are fine to use. And you can also use these as part of your builds. You can have like a mostly eternal character build, but then have one of these as a separate item. So for example, I just picked up this amulet here and it gives us an immunity. So that's amazing. And if you're playing against other players and you can pop an immunity, that's massive. So if you're ever not sure what your items do, you just press F1 on the PC and you can see a quick descriptor of what your items do, and you can see here what they do. If they're upgradable, etc., they'll be down below. Now green items cannot be upgraded. So if you was to find a second green bow, you can't upgrade it. That's just like the base level. So they're very good starting out, and some of them are quite strong and useful to take into a full build. So that's the green items. And then you have the eternal items, or the items that belong to eternal heroes. And the way this works, the lore behind it is that these heroes were fractured into different pieces, and they spread their different powers throughout the tower, and you can collect them and assemble them and reforge them and turn into them, right? So these are the hero pieces, and you can see them in the shop, these purple items. This one belongs to Adani, this one belongs to Penelope, this one belongs to Grimwald, etc. To wear the pieces of an eternal, there are various benefits. For having 2 pieces of the eternal, you have a set bonus. So you can see here, if you have 2 pieces of the Tsubu set, which is the wolf guy, you get this set here. Deal 100% more damage at low health. If we were to go over to say this guy here, Vuitton, and we equipped all of his gear, you can see increased healing from your items and abilities by 50%. So very good buffs for having 2 pieces of the same set. And that can be like a crown and 1 weapon. It could be 2 weapons. It doesn't matter. And then if you have all 4 pieces, you can transform into the hero. So we can do this and we can transform, giving us an extra ability. So we have our left click, we can hold, we can right click that. We then have our other weapon, left click, and then we can right click that. And then we also have this ability in the middle to cast, right? Which is like a metamorphosis and invulnerability. So every hero also has a special ability when you have the full set. So that's why you kind of want to get the full sets. The other reason why you want to get the full sets is because as you get these hero pieces, they upgrade. So if you find a payback crown belonging to Vuitton, you will then have this power here, reflect all damage types for 3 seconds. If you upgrade it, so if you find another crown or somebody else on your team picks up another crown, it will upgrade your crown, giving you cooldown reduced to 12 seconds. So you takes 3 seconds off, and then the duration increases to 5. So 5 seconds of invincibility. Similarly, if you had the serpent staff, the cooldown will reduce to 12 seconds and the pillars would last 2 seconds longer. They try not to do this as damage increases. So they try not to do it as like, you have to get a tier 3 weapon, and a tier 3 weapon always beats a tier 1, and you get like the gear creep where everybody has to, you just blame losing because, oh, they've got upgraded gear. It's not really like that. These are very fairly minor things. Okay, now the next thing that is very easy to overlook and very easy to not take full advantage of is consumables and anchor abilities. You will regularly have a better weapon and better gear than your enemy and lose. Part of that is skill, but another part is because you're not using your consumables and your anchors. Similarly, if you have like a green basic weapon and they have a good set, you can beat them if they don't know this. So if you go to a shrine, for example, you'll see the following consumables: Healing Ward, Fortitude Shard, Health Potion. That refills your health, that refills your shields, and this puts down a beacon that can heal both. So if we buy this, for example, All you do if you want to use these is you just click whatever the icon is next to it. For me, it's on my left mouse, so it's like on the side of my mouse. I just click that button and it will use it. You can hold 4 of these, but they have to be the same one. So you could have like 4 fortitude shards, 4 health potions. I really like the fortitude shards because then if your armor, the blue bar above your health, if you're in a fight and that goes down, so I play it ranged quite a lot. If that goes down to 0, you just step back for 1 second, click your thing, and you fill back to full shield. So it's so powerful, and it turns fights because you win like the morale fight because your health is constantly refilling, and maybe they don't have the shards, theirs isn't, right? The other thing is this thing here, you can drop it for your team, and then anybody can come stand in here and get healed. So it's really, really good. Always recommend, just if you see a shrine, go here. At the basic level, I would just grab fortitude shards until you know the game a little better and you want to play around a certain thing. Okay. Next thing is anchors. These are a bit more, these have a bit more skill involved, but you should be using them, right? So what they do is they give you a powerful buff. So if you look here, last wish, if you are knocked down while it's active, you become phased and revive with 100 health. So what you would do is you would put it in, you would use it, and then if you're about to go down, you come back. There's ones like this, temporarily give you a team vision of enemy players, summon a shrine. So, you know, if everyone's out of consumables, you can pull a shrine, just make one appear, and everyone can refill their consumables. This is really good if you've like just want to fight. You have rescue, teleport to a down teammate, and then you have mending hands. Damage dealt to you is converted into healing. Now, this only lasts 2 seconds, so it's kind of okay. I really like this one. So, for example, what you would do is you would be like in a fight, know you're about to go down, you'll be very low HP, and maybe you want to go in and just do an ultimate. You want to go in and do like a big amount of damage, but you know you're going to go down, you just pop this. And then if you go down in the next, whatever this is on, you just come back to life. So it's so powerful. And again, these really do turn the game around. So I definitely get used to like buying them, using them, and knowing the effects of them. Okay, now for like a basic gearing guide. You go into the tower. What on earth do you do? Stuff's dropping, every chest is popping out, like 4 items. Help, what do you do? Okay, so the first thing I would suggest is know what sort of playstyle you want and get comfortable with the items of that playstyle. So for example, greens are going to drop first. The first thing that's going to drop is greens in terms of the weapons. Just try them all. They're all okay. I would say just try all the weapons. You can't say like, I only want to use the bow because you might never see the bow. So try them all and just get comfortable with them all, know what they look like, and then get comfortable with a couple of amulets and a couple of crowns. So for example, some do like really cool stuff, some don't. Like this one is really good for getting away. The slide amulet, you just slide. It's pretty good. If that drops, you know it's good for getting away. I always pick that up. This one gives you a shield, become immune to damage. So it's really nice. So I always grab that one. So, you know some good ones. The crowns I would say are much more useful. All of the green crowns have a pretty good use. Reduce damage, refresh your cooldowns and abilities and endurance and stamina, recover your health, and then recover your fortitude. So the crowns are always good. Just know what they are. The blue one is fortitude. The white one is your health. The pink one is, refresh cooldowns. And the green one is reduce damage. That's all you need to know. You don't have to go, let me just have a look at, because you could get attacked, right? So have a basic understanding of that. And then what hero pieces do you want? Now, the trap you can get into is trying to make a full set. You can go into a game and say, okay, I want to be this guy. I want to be Kariv. I only want Kariv pieces. And then you're only picking up the Kariv pieces. You want to be like a full Kariv blaster. You get to the end of the game and you've only got 2 pieces, and you're playing against somebody who's got like a really good build and you lose. So what I would suggest is try to make a really good build that you can play well. So what does that mean? It means get the pieces that fit your playstyle. Now, that can mean making a fractured build. So that means a build that is not a full set. So a build that is like bits of other pieces. It's just fractured, lots of different pieces. So let's say you want to play a support. Let's say you want to play a supportive character. You want to stand at the back and you want to support your team. You don't want to be in the front with like swords. You want to stay at the back. What pieces would make a supportive build? Well, just go through them. Go through the different characters and read what they do. Place a protective totem that gives you and your teammates mitigation. That's pretty good. So if I see Kariv's crown, I'll get it. Summon a Path of Fire, maybe not so much. What about Tetsubo? Oh, Tetsubo can summon a companion. That's going to be pretty good. So if I get that and my team are fighting, I can just do this and throw a wolf on the enemy. That's pretty good. Hollow's weapon is really good. So Hollow's Darkling Staff is really good. So say you're in a fight and 3 people are running at you and one of them pushes forward, one of them lunges forward, put a wall up, that one at the front is then cut off, or your team can then fold on that person and take them out really, really quick. And that works again if you're trying to make, say, a melee build. A melee build, you can look at someone like Irenia. You can look at Irenia and go, oh, Irena has this two-handed frost sword, and I'm going to be the Lich King. I'm only going to pick up her pieces. You fell in the trap again. If they drop, awesome, cool, play that build and adapt to it. But what would that build look like? Maybe that means taking the mace, and you can do this big slow, and that's going to help you then get to the enemies because you've just slowed them down. But what if you mix that with the throwing knives of Darla? And you're going to go, well, why do I want throwing knives? I have a melee build. Well, that's because the secondary attack of the throwing knives is you slow them with this, you go in and you pop this. It's like a barrier of blades, and then you stand near the enemy, they're taking damage. So it works really, really well. So, you know, mixing things like that is going to be really good. Similarly, there might be certain amulets or crowns, so you could blind your nearby enemies. You could a vortex that pulls enemies in, so you know you're running into the enemies, you buff up, you then go like this, and then you jump on them, right? So a melee build doesn't just mean stacking all the same items, similarly to every other build in the game. So I would just say, learn what looks good, and then what do you actually enjoy playing with, and then what fits that build. And I honestly believe that if fractured builds of just different pieces are some of the best in the game. I do want to put together like a full build of like, what would a melee build look like, and what items would I be looking for as a melee player, and maybe have like 20 items on there, 10 items on there. And similarly for like ranged and support, when I've had more time in the game and when the game is fully out, then I do want to do that. But for now, I would just say it's on you to find things that look cool and work well that you want to play with. And that's just going to come from practicing in here like I've just shown you, and then just playing the game. Yeah, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them down below. I hope you're enjoying the game. I'm hooked, but thank you. Take care.